This is a quick demonstration of something I want to include in the technical service and configuration item mapping work we're doing, just to highlight some of the benefits we can give to our second line support teams. So yeah, as we're mapping each of these technical services into the tool, obviously that gives us a number of data benefits, namely that any users can go in to the CI search of the tool and they will readily be able to pull back the relevant config items per technical service. So for the one that we've mapped here, I'm just in the test system. So for security, eSecurity reverse proxy, I can go into the Marvel system and do a quick search, and straight away it pulls back all of those CIs that we've highlighted that make up part of that technical service of eServices reverse proxy. So that searching mechanism within the tool for config items, this kind of two key structure against the type, will marry up against this two key structure here within our proposed technical service portfolio. To take that concept a little further, what we'll also do is we'll map those values here, so tier 1, tier 2, to our service dictionary within the service management tool, so that all technical changes will be logged against the relevant technical service within the tool. So what I've been doing today is putting together a minimal viable product as to how we can kind of utilize that approach to aid with the process of logging changes, making that process more efficient and making it easier for the change builder to select the relevant CIs that they're making the changes against, or the CIs that are actually changing. So within the self-service side of the system, I've knocked up something called a technical service change logging portal. And as you can see on here, all of the options that the users will have will map to the first key of the technical service portfolio. So application service, channel service, communication service. So these map to all of these values in the first field here. Sorry, just these here, channel network. So the idea being that our change builders, all changes are logged from this portal. So the change builder will simply select the relevant tier 1 technical service that they're looking to change. So in this case, we're going to say I'm going to make a change against the security service. Yeah, and as we actually start mapping those technical services in, we can also add a page here for the relevant change builders to then enable to use that new data structure to help with their change logging. So one we have mapped at the moment is the reverse proxy service. So they'll be able to go into here and they've got a nice simple form for logging any flavor of change against the reverse proxy service. So they would go in, whatever the description of their change is. So I'll just call it test description for now. The change reason, so it maps to all of the existing dictionaries we got there. So we can configure these forms. This is just a minimal viable product for now. If I wanted to make a standard change, details of the change in here, again we can be more prescriptive in here. We can break those change details down into particular headings that the change team need, but all of this information will feed into the relevant change record into that change details tab within the tool. So yeah, so whatever the details are in there. And then this is the bit where there's some intelligence in the tool configured, where we've got select CIs affected or being changed. So the user can click on this icon here, and because we're logging a change against the reverse proxy service, when they click on here, they only then see those config items that form part of that technical service. So they can select whichever config item is affected here. We can give them the capability to add additional configs to the same change. Yeah, so if they want to select all of those, click on OK, We've then got a little mechanism here, so if this given change needs to go for change management approval, they can do that here. So it's like a one-stop shop for logging and putting their change up for approval. If this one doesn't need approval, just click on raise request. So if we then go into the Marvel system itself to see the resulting change that's been logged, I'll just pull it up here. So that was a nice easy user experience to log my reverse proxy change, and we can see that the given change has been logged against the relevant technical service. Yeah, it's taken the change details in there, and we can see under the related tab it's got all of those CIs attached to it from that web logging page. What we've also included here is so as we add those config items per technical service, when we get to that stage where we actually start mapping the relationships within that given technical service, we can then pass a link. So this link is a checklist which is associated to this service. So for the service of eSecurity Reverse Proxy, we can create a link which takes us to a specific view of the config items that make up that particular technical service. So this can be used then by the change management team to help do some form of impact assessment against the given change itself. So if we click on that one, it takes us into our Marvel view, which we can then delve into and look at the actual CI components and their relationships that make up that given technical service. So yeah, so that's the idea. So as we incrementally add the config items per service, as we classify them against their relevant technical service, what we could do as part of that journey is that we could create those change logging pages for the support groups that are responsible for supporting that given technical service, and we can start adding those views in so that we're adding value as we're actually going about that process of adding the config information into the system. I say I'll set up a meeting to discuss this proposal further, and we can see how we can, if we think this is a good idea, then we can get together and see the best way to actually deliver those benefits.